Coming up on Global Business Future Growth, China says AI will play a greater role in upgrading traditional industries and developing emerging pillar industries while fostering future economic growth drivers such as 6G. Striking back, Canada has announced dollar-for-dollar retaliatory tariffs on $20 billion worth of US goods as their trade war escalates. And game on. Players from around the globe are in Germany for the world's biggest gaming event, Gamescom 2026, with highly anticipated new releases, AI and the future of esports in the spotlight. Welcome to Global Business. I'm Lincoln Humphreys. Our top story, Chinese President Xi Jinping has ordered all-out search and rescue efforts after a mudslide in Nepal caused major casualties at the Girong border port in southwest China's Xizang Autonomous Region. Nepal police have told China's Xinhua News that a mudslide in the north of Nepal has caused at least 22 deaths. Meanwhile, the country's tourism authorities say 384 people are missing, the majority of them foreign visitors. The Chinese government has activated a Level 2 National Disaster Relief Emergency Response for Girong County. Local authorities in Xizang are making every effort to search for missing people, relocate and resettle affected residents and repair damaged infrastructure. The National Commission for Disaster Reduction and the Ministry of Emergency Management have been working with the National Food and Strategic Reserves Administration to distribute relief supplies. The Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Emergency Management have allocated 120 million yuan in disaster relief funds to support rescue operations. China will accelerate new industrialisation under the 15th five-year plan by upgrading traditional industries and strengthening the complete industrial system. Officials from China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology told reporters on Wednesday that China would continue to develop emerging pillar industries while fostering future industries, including quantum technology and 6G, as new drivers of economic growth. They said China's AI industry is injecting strong momentum into the economy and will play a greater role in industrial upgrading.
We will support the development of key technologies, including high-end AI training chips and multimodal algorithms, while advancing humanoid robots, brain-computer interfaces, and other intelligent products. We will also develop lightweight, affordable, and easy-to-deploy solutions so that businesses can truly access and effectively use AI.
China will promote the large-scale application of new technologies, products, and scenarios in manufacturing. We will cultivate major applications involving 5G, artificial intelligence, robotics, the industrial internet, and the Beidou system, and accelerate their commercialization and widespread use.
China aims to build 500 zero-carbon factories by the end of 2030 as part of its carbon peaking objectives under the 15th five-year plan. Also at today's press conference, Vice Minister Xin Guobin said China will draw lessons from the construction of zero-carbon factories and apply them more broadly. The country will strive for key technological breakthroughs in green and low-carbon sectors, accelerate the industrial development of equipment manufacturing for hydrogen energy, new energy and environmental protection, and boost the supply of green products. The ministry also emphasised a greater focus on the coordinated development of smart and green industries and pledged to develop lightweight, low-cost and ready-to-use green manufacturing equipment tailored for small and medium-sized enterprises. The development of the 6 major infrastructure networks constitutes a cornerstone national infrastructure strategy for China's 15th five-year plan period. Designed to underpin a high-quality economic transformation, the initiative promotes the systemic and coordinated advancement of 6 key networks: water supply, new type power grids, computing power, next-generation communications, urban underground pipelines and logistics. As one of China's national pilot zones for ecological conservation, Hainan is spearheading the deep integration of these 6 networks with clean energy, with a focus on building a low-carbon island and establishing a modern new energy power system. Reporter Lin Mo has more.
I'm currently at Hainan's Yangpu port, and right behind me sits a gas turbine that has just been unloaded. After voyaging thousands of miles across the oceans, this engine has finally arrived in Hainan. It is set to support the future advancement of the new turbine assembly and service center here in the Hainan Free Trade Port. On December 18, 2025, Siemens Energy's first gas turbine assembly and service center broke ground in Yangpu. The 7000F is the world's first heavy-duty gas turbine. It will provide crucial support for the training of clean energy technical professionals and further advance the development of Hainan as a clean energy island.
The three types of training services that Siemens Energy provides include overhaul, maintenance, and fault detection. Our goal is to establish a training base in China, cultivating more top-tier technical talents for China and the Asia-Pacific region.
In addition to Siemens Energy, China Huanan Group also actively engages in the clean energy island construction. On December 27, 2024, the first batch of offshore green electricity was generated in the offshore waters of Hainan's Lingao County. The 60 offshore wind turbines, also known as clean power generators, are from China Huanan Group.
截止到今年初啊，我们总装机达到543万千瓦。
By the end of 2025, China Huanan's total installed power generation capacity in Hainan province stood at 5.43 million kilowatts, more than double that at the beginning of the 14th five-year plan period. The proportion of clean energy installed capacity exceeded 62%, ensuring about one-third of the province's total dispatch power.
The general manager of China Huanan's Hainan branch stated that during the 15th five-year plan period, the company will strive to build a diversified industrial ecosystem centered on energy, continue to advance the exploration of deep-sea wind power platforms, and create new forms of zero-carbon technologies related to green hydrogen, ammonia, and methanol. On August 21st, the Hainan Danzhou matchmaking session for industrial chain cooperation on the new power system was convened in Shanghai to explore new avenues for collaboration within the modern energy system. The event brought together 21 Fortune 500 companies, including China's Southern Power Grid and Costco Shipping Group. It featured multiple rounds of project signings covering areas such as low-carbon services, green energy supply, and electricity services.
接下来我们让重点开发在
We will give high priority to the green, low-carbon, and sustainable products and assist the enterprises in Danzhou with green certification, fully leveraging the technical advantages of Bureau Veritas.
We continue to conduct in-depth research on industrial chains and build an efficient communication platform between government and enterprises. With international standards and market-oriented services, we will provide sustained momentum for Danzhou Yangpu's efforts to build a national benchmark for the modern energy system.
The 15th five-year plan for the construction of the new power system clearly states that by 2030, the huge demand for a green and low-carbon power supply is projected to be met. Power generation from non-fossil energy sources will account for 50% of the total. Hainan is playing its part in achieving this goal. Lin Wo Sansha Satellite TV in Hainan for CGTN.
6G is still years away from commercial rollout, but Shanghai is already positioning itself for the next generation of mobile technology. In 2025, the city launched a plan to develop its 6G industry, with commercial deployment in China expected around 2030. Lei Shuran has more.
Shanghai's Songjiang district is emerging as one of the city's main bases for developing 6G-related technologies. A 123,000 square meter industrial park there is now home to more than 120 companies, including around 40 linked to the 6G industrial chain. One of them is developing wearable brain-computer interface technology. Its current devices can allow users to place a coffee order without touching a screen. The developer says similar technology could eventually be used to control smart home appliances and robots. And as the number of connected devices grows, the company says future networks will need to handle many more connections at the same time.
For example, a smartphone can currently connect to around 10 Bluetooth devices at most. But as the number of smart home devices and eventually robots grows rapidly, 6G will need to support simultaneous short-range connections with more than 20 or even more than 30 devices.
Other companies in the park are looking at how 6G could support much larger AI systems. One developer of intelligent airport inspection technology says faster, lower latency networks could allow a single AI agent to process data from far more cameras in real time.
Our AI can operate 24 hours a day. With 5G, one AI can monitor 500 cameras. With 6G, one AI could potentially handle more than 10,000. And because our AI needs to anticipate events, a difference of just a few seconds can change a lot.
Local authorities are also putting money behind the push. Songjiang has launched a 300 million yuan fund to support the development of 6G-related businesses. Selected major science and technology projects, as well as companies newly recognized as unicorn enterprises, can also qualify for additional incentives.
Over the past 2 years, we've developing this platform. As a potentially disruptive technology for future industries, much of the work involves turning research from the laboratory into practical applications. Our platform helps companies turn scientific and technological research into commercial output.
The park now brings together incubators, proof-of-concept facilities, testing services, and technology companies, as Songjiang tries to build a broader 6G industrial ecosystem. By 2030, the wider 6G industrial cluster in Songjiang is expected to generate more than 100 billion yuan in annual industrial value. Liz Ran, SMG International for CGTN, Shanghai.
You're watching Global Business. Coming up next. Striking back, Canada has announced dollar-for-dollar retaliatory tariffs on $20 billion worth of US goods as their trade war escalates.
The world economy as we know it is about to change. Global business reports highlight emerging markets, developing countries, and dynamic sectors worldwide. We feature top analysts and newsmakers to provide perspectives on every facet of business. From an on-the-ground perspective, we provide you with balanced and objective assessments. Fast, sharp, and insightful. Global Business. Only on CGTN.
Canada has announced dollar-for-dollar tariffs on $20 billion worth of US goods as their trade war escalates. Canada also announced a multi-billion-dollar support package for businesses hit by US tariffs. The measures come after US President Donald Trump imposed 50% duties on Canadian imports over the weekend after trade negotiations collapsed. Karina Huber reports from Montreal.
We're looking at about 700 U.S. products that are going to be impacted, and the tariff amount will range from 15% to 50%, hitting everything from U.S. seafood to motorcycles to apparel, paper products. But the steepest tariff, 50%, is going to be reserved for certain U.S. dairy, as well as cosmetic and lumber. Now, the tariffs will go into effect on September 8th. Now, what is Canada doing to protect itself amid this trade war? Well,
Canada will meet the moment. Canadians will meet the moment. We will meet the moment together. And as the Prime Minister has said, we will support our workers, our businesses, and our industry with whatever it takes for as long as it takes. Our negotiating team and the Prime Minister work tirelessly on behalf of all Canadians. But ultimately, the terms proposed by the U.S. administration were uneconomic, unfair, and ultimately unacceptable.
And this is really targeting small and medium-sized businesses who will feel the most pain in this trade war. So what Canada's trying to do is created a special rapid response program which will allow businesses to access funds quickly. They're also making changes to Canada's employment insurance program so that workers who are laid off can access benefits quicker and larger amounts of benefits. So the Canadian government is really preparing for the long haul. It knows that businesses will be hurt. Small businesses themselves are trying to diversify their trading partners away from the United States. But as expected, it is going to be painful for Canadians.
As the trade war between the US and Canada continues to escalate, small business owners in Canada are among those feeling squeezed the hardest. Nina de Vries has more on the reaction from Canada in this report.
hockey. It's a major sport played in Canada and a significant symbol of the country's identity. And now, products associated with the game are among those affected by the new 50% tariffs imposed by the U.S., specifically hockey sticks. Joey Walsh owns a company called The Hockey Stick Man, which has several locations in Ontario, including in Vaughan, a city just outside Toronto. He's frustrated by the latest tariffs.
I think that nobody wants to see commercial recreational products being hit with more tariffs that's going to be a barrier to entry for kids in sports and recreation.
Joey explains that only his Canada-made hockey sticks made of wood or that are refurbished are affected by the tariffs. But other items, such as skates and goalie equipment produced here, are also being hit, he says. He wants U.S. customers to know that he is planning to cover the cost of tariffs for them, and he hopes his business won't be hit too hard.
We'll see the impact over the next few weeks.
He also acknowledges there are other businesses that will be far worse off than his, and that's a concern echoed by experts in the business industry. Smaller businesses are expected to feel the blow much more this time around. According to the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, about 40% of small Canadian exporters will be hit by these latest tariffs, and about 1/3 could expect to see their revenue drop by 50% or more. In a media statement, the president of CFIB called on Ottawa to keep small businesses in mind in any talks with Washington going forward, saying, "More than anything, small firms are counting on government to resume negotiations as early as possible and ensure the impact on Canadian entrepreneurs is minimized in the interim." But when or even if those talks resume remains unclear. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has said the U.S. needs to adjust its attitude toward trade talks before negotiations continue. Some experts say it could be a while.
So I'm afraid we're going to have a period either of, heightening tensions or a period of, freezed relations or a mix of the two, but I can't see going back to the negotiating table anytime soon.
For now, businesses like Joey Walsh's are just trying to cope with constant changes.
We want to go back to the way things were in that we could work together. I think that's the best for both countries. And hopefully, we return to that level of stability.
Nina DeVries, CGTN, Vaughan, Canada.
We turn our focus now to yen depreciation. The yen is once again approaching the 160 per dollar mark, with experts saying real demand is driving the sell-off and the rise in import prices triggered by the situation in Iran has only just begun. Newly released consumer price data confirms that rising crude oil and naphtha costs are already feeding through to food and durable goods prices. As inflation pressures in Japan mounts and the yen continues to weaken, an increasing number of economists believe that the Bank of Japan will raise interest rates faster than previously expected. 57% of economists in a Reuters survey expect the Bank of Japan to raise interest rates next month. This marks a sharp shift from the July poll in which only 5% of respondents anticipated a rate hike in the current quarter. In the same survey, 25 out of 28 economists believe Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's fiscal policy will exacerbate the yen's weakness, and markets will continue to worry about the funding sources for her government's plans, including food, tax cuts and investment spending. Still to come on Global Business. Game on. Players from around the globe are in Germany for Gamescom 2026, the world's biggest gaming events, with highly anticipated new releases, AI and the future of esports in the spotlight.
A vast land of 1.4 billion people. The world's second largest economy. Home to stories of the unexpected, the unimaginable, the breathtaking. Stories that touch the soul. Feel the speed, the passion. Enjoy spectacular natural and cultural landscapes. Feel the thrill of cutting-edge innovations. Discovering China. Global Biz. China Travel. We present to China never seen before. 24/7 at your fingertips.
Gamescom, the world's biggest gaming event, kicks off on Wednesday in Cologne, Germany. For the first time on record, the 5-day Game Expo sold out all of its exhibition floor space and booths, a highly positive sign for the global gaming industry. Our correspondent Peter Oliver reports from the venue.
The world's biggest gaming event is powering up. Gamescom will bring hundreds of thousands of players, developers and industry figures to Cologne with the latest releases, new technology and the future of gaming all on display.
As the exhibitors put the final touches to their stands and the first visitors arrive, there's plenty for them to look forward to.
Honestly, it's my first expo, so I'm kind of excited for everything. Excited for the talks and the new games, of course.
I think I look forward to seeing pretty cool indie games in the indie game lounge. It's like usually the best part of the games come for me.
I'm just looking forward, like going through the halls and seeing what catches me the most and playing that, basically.
And among the titles competing for attention are a growing number coming out of China. Chinese-developed games are nominated across several categories at this year's Gamescom Awards, as the country's studios increasingly target players far beyond their domestic market. But Gamescom isn't only about what people will be playing next. Artificial intelligence is expected to be one of the industry's biggest talking points, promising new ways of making games, while also raising questions about the resources needed to power it.
What's really important here is that we demand transparency from model developers to understand how much energy, water and things like that are being used.
Lisa Pak heads Playing for the Planet, a UN-backed alliance which has grown from 19 gaming companies in 2019 to over 60 today, including some of the biggest names in the gaming world. She says an event the size of Gamescom can help push change much further.
This is one of the biggest events in the industry, so everybody is going to be here. When one event makes big steps, the other event really can't stay behind.
New games, new technology and some big questions about where the industry goes next. For the next few days, Cologne is where developers will show what they believe the future of gaming looks like, and players will get their first chance to decide whether they agree. Peter Oliver, CGTN, Cologne, Germany.
China's gaming market is among the world's largest, with a record 684 million players as of June. This supersized market is accelerating the expansion of local developers, who are becoming formidable competitors on the international scene. Michael Marillier has more.
China's gaming companies are winning at home, but can they win overseas? Let's take a look at the data. Domestic sales climbing above $49 billion last year. That's an all-time record for China. It's also 7.7% higher than the year before, so pretty strong growth. Now, domestic sales include games bought in China but made overseas. Still, 83% of sales were linked to games made in China. Meanwhile, Chinese games earned $20 billion in overseas markets. That's less than half the value of the domestic market, but there is growth. Foreign sales up more than 10% year on year. Now, there is a clear example of this, and that's Black Myth Wukong. Chinese developer Game Science sold 10 million copies within 3 days. Some reports suggest it's now approaching 30 million. And here's the key point. Over the last 2 years, 50% of sales came from outside China. Here's another example. Timi Studio Group is the developer behind Honor of Kings, Delta Force and Call of Duty Mobile. These are some of the most popular games in the world. And just last year, Timi said it had 100 million active users from outside the Chinese mainland. That's an all-time record for the company, which was founded in 2008. So there are signs that Chinese firms are making their mark, both at home and away.
One of the most prestigious tournaments in global esports, Dota 2, the International 2026, recently wrapped up in Shanghai. The event marked the return of the flagship championship to China after years of anticipation. Chen Tong reports.
After a fierce 4-day main event battle, Team Spirit from Russia were crowned champions this year. Dota has a history spanning more than 2 decades, with millions of players worldwide. That enduring global following is one reason the tournament has generated so much attention.
I don't know much about the game, but I can feel all the excitement here. After 7 years, the competition is back to Shanghai, attracting fans from all over the world.
Tickets incredibly sold out within 5 minutes of release on June 10th, and has attracted fans from 73 countries and regions.
For me, it's a dream, and we have a beautiful opportunity to go to China, first one, and the second one, it's international. For me, it's wow, it's something incredible.
I've been playing Dota like for 10 years or more maybe. I'm feeling so excited. Thank you so much, Shanghai, for giving us the possibility to come.
There are also esports KOLs who came to Shanghai for the very first time, who couldn't wait to explore the city.
I want to just watch it, Disneyland, and I want to shopping because this is a Shanghai.
Beyond intense in-game battles, the Shanghai event highlights the integration of esports and urban culture. A special orchestra performance was held in July, along with pop-up installations at Shanghai's major shopping malls.
Many of our players are young people and they want to learn about China and Shanghai. This tournament is a great opportunity to enrich their travel plans. They come to China not only to discover scenic spots, but their favorite competitions too, and explore the local culture. This is a new lifestyle for the youth.
Shanghai has been working for years to establish itself as a global esports hub. In the first half of this year, the city hosted about a quarter of offline esports competitions held across China, while its number of esports clubs ranks first nationwide. The Dota 2 tournament is another opportunity for Shanghai to strengthen its position on the global esports stage. Chen Tong, CGTN, Shanghai.
And that is game over for us here at Global Business. I'm Lincoln Humphreys in Beijing. You've been wonderful company. We'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.